The introduction, but Warren Brinson's ready.
Turn this phone off. Got choose?
Hey,
Brooks Austin?
Warren, Kirby doesn't generally throw out a lot of praise in preseason, but he's talked about the depth on the defensive line, maybe not being what it has been in the past. Being a member of that defensive line, how do you guys feel like about your overall depth, and I guess kind of the legacy that you're trying to carry on?
We have a motto in our room. Coach Scott always preaches that we all we got, we all we need. We know it's gonna be a journey this season to work hard, to fill up the roles, to be able to push through and sustain throughout this whole season. So it's just us putting forward our best foot to work hard and sustain and taking care of our bodies. The best thing to do for us is get into recovery treatment and hyperbaric chamber, stuff like that, to keep us fresh, keep us prepared. Our practices are always going to be the same. We know that it's going to be tough, it's going to be hard, but we just got to keep going. Football's a tough game, so you got to be tough playing D-line. And in the NFL, this is like the league. There's only 8 D-line on the roster, so this is as close to the league as we're going to get.
Yeah, Warren, you're one of the many guys that's kind of waited your turn around here. You kind of waited behind a lot of really, really talented football players. What is it about this place that makes people kind of happy growing where they're playing?
Man, my story for Georgia is a little different because it was my first offer. Coach Scott was the first ever D-line coach to believe in me, so I can't leave the guy who believed in me first. And if I would have went anywhere else, most other coaches, they leave their schools, they try to get somewhere. When Coach Scott loves his place, he told me from the beginning that he's going to stay here until Kirby runs him off. So I mean, I can't leave a guy that I love that gave me an opportunity, so I had to pay it forward to Georgia just for giving me this opportunity to get here. Because without them, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have got all the offers I had.
You said you've waited 3 years to come out and do this media thing. Have you lobbied Kirby to get this chance?
Nah, not really. I started I got a podcast and stuff like that, so I've been doing my media thing on my own, but it's good to be in front of y'all now, all these faces and stuff.
Hey, Warren, if you could kind of talk on, you were just able to speak to Amarius, and he was talking about how deep this offensive line is.
Oh my
How
gosh.
good they are. What can you kind of touch on that when it comes down to practicing against them every day?
Bro, they're amazing, honestly. I mean, I don't think I'm going to play against a better offensive line than them. Honestly, that's my honest opinion. I think they've been snubbed the last 2 years for that award, but I think they're going to win it this year. That's the best offensive line, the best 2 offensive lines in the country. Our 1s and 2s. I mean, they give it to us every day. Every day. They get us prepared for the game for sure. They make the games easier for us.
Warren, how's it going, man? Good to see you.
You too.
I hope I don't embarrass you with this question here, though, but I know, back in Savannah, you've done a lot of things with kids. You had your football camp, your book bag thing, you give out book bags, you give out toys for Christmas. I think you may even given out prom outfits
I took 4 kids. I paid for 4 kids to go to prom.
Why is that stuff important to you, man? Why is it important to give back to your home?
Just when I was coming up, there wasn't a lot of people that did that, and in Savannah, there's not a lot of role models to look up to. So I mean, I left Savannah to go to IMG, but I always want people to know that that's my heart, that's where I'm from. So I always want to give back to the kids. And I mean, the Lord says you have to tithe and offer and give back to the less fortunate. So I always try to give back to people. I'm blessed and fortunate to make NIL, so why not give back some of my money to them?
What kind of reaction, just real quick, what kind of reaction do you get, smiles and stuff? What does that mean to you when the kid reacts onto you?
Honestly, in the moment, it really doesn't hit. Just thank you, appreciate you for doing this. You're a great person. I mean, I'm really just doing it because that's what I want to do, honestly. The reactions, they don't get to me until afterwards. And like my book bag drive, it's probably about 102 degrees out there. I was sweating the whole time. I was like, damn, it's hot. But I mean, afterwards, it was an amazing feeling just seeing all those people come out, man. The line was just wrapped around the little parking lot we were in. It's a great feeling, honestly.
Warren, can you speak to how far you feel like you've come as a player from when you first got to Georgia to where you are now getting ready for the season?
I think the biggest step I took is in my mental toughness, because being in Georgia, it's a lot of hard work, straining and stuff like that. So my biggest step that I took was mental toughness. Like you'll get stingers here and there, little bumps and bruises. You got to shake that off now. You got to keep going, because I know I can't let my guys down. I gotta take my reps in practice, because if I don't take my reps, it's going to wear on somebody else on the D line. So it's just about doing my job, doing my part to help produce production, and doing my job.
Kirby's talked a lot about getting the young guys in this defensive line room ready. I know they haven't played a game yet, but they will here in the spring. What have you seen out of Jamal Jarrett and Jordan Hall as you try to get them up to speed and get them playing at a defensive line standard?
They have a workman's mindset of just they know it's going to be a journey. It's not the what does Coach Scott say? What does Coach Scott say? It's just a journey, bro. They're working hard. Jordan Hall, Jamal Jarrett. They're working hard. Oh, sorry. Is that bad? No, they're working hard, man. Those guys they're getting to where they need to be. They know they got to knuckle up when the time comes, when their name's called, to go out there. And thankfully, we got a few games that we're going to get into before we get to real big time SEC play. So that's going to break the ice for them, get them out on the field early. UT Martin, Ball State, things like that. But I believe in those guys wholeheartedly. And it's other guys like Gabe Harris. That kid's a monster. So I can't wait to see where these guys come and develop over the rest of the season.
I mean, you just talked about a couple of the freshmen, but you've got a couple guys that you've been around for a little while between, Nazir and Zion. I mean, what is it like being able to play with those guys for another season, and how's your guys' relationship?
Y'all know, it's fun playing with those guys. Y'all know Nas, his TikToks and stuff like that, so he's always funny, making jokes and stuff like that. But we all we got, we all we need. We know this our time to shine. We got to keep the ball rolling, man. We had first round. It's time. We got to keep that going. It's a standard we got to play to. It's a standard we got to uphold when it comes to stopping the run, being stout up front, generating pass rush and juice like that, man. So playing with my guys, I trust them, they trust me, and we're a unit.
Warren, two questions, kind of a two-part question about Jalen Carter. One, where do you think you guys miss him most? And two, what were you thinking when you were watching the draft when he fell all the way to number 9?
Where do we think we miss him the most? I mean, Jalen was a different beast. I mean, he's a presence that's felt all over the field. So I mean, the whole defense is going to miss that presence. I mean, he's a crazy player, and him falling, that really doesn't mean anything. Those teams are just not smart for not picking him. Y'all see what he's doing.
You mentioned the 4 first-rounders of the last 2 years. You mentioned Jalen and his playmaking ability. Kirby said he doesn't necessarily see a game record in this room. What do y'all do to make up for not having a Jalen, not having a Jordan, on and on?
Said not see the game record. I feel like I recommend him, but stunting, stuff like that. I mean, it's just we're gonna see as the season goes on. I mean, we just don't have we don't have the big names, but by the end of the season we can all be big names. You know what I'm saying? So it's really just us working hard, having a good season, and y'all gonna see people wreck games.
Yeah, Warren, a couple of things. You mentioned this is a place of strain. I'm curious, what's the biggest key to learning how to practice at Georgia? And you also mentioned you have a podcast. How would one go about finding or supporting that?
When it comes to strain, it's a grind, man. Probably the hardest camp in the country. It's just working, putting your mind down and knowing you have to have the mental toughness to go through this. You got to go through it to get to it. So come to Georgia. It's a hard workplace. Strain is a force of strenuous and a usual great effort. So we do drills that imply strain on us because 50% of sacks in the NFL last year were after 4 seconds. So we got to rush out. We got to rush things like that. This strain. And my podcast is called Beyond the Hedges. Y'all know we play Between the Hedges, Beyond the Hedges. That's catchy, right? But Beyond the Hedges is through the Players Lounge with Aaron Murray. He gave me the opportunity to do that. I had a few media instances from the playoffs and national championships, stuff like that. And I've been doing that since probably the start of the summer, probably 8 episodes in. It was an episode dropped the day I went down to Taylor Made Kingdom, and I played a couple rounds of golf down there with Taylor Crosby.
Warren, I know that you and Austin Blasky go way back from the 9-1-2.
Yeah.
What's it been like to kind of see him come in as that 3-star guy and where he's at right now?
I'm happy to see what Blasky is because, man, I remember he was committed to NC State. We're all from Savannah. We all worked out with the same coaches and stuff like that. It's always fun seeing the guys that we all grew up with and just seeing what he get. Blasky is a great player, probably one of the strongest guys on the team. And, I mean, I can't wait to see where his journey goes this season and farther than this, man. I love that dude.
Warren, what have you seen from Michael through fall camp and just how big of a role he can play in this defensive line?
Oh, I mean, disruptive, good hands, work ethic, pass rush ability. But I'm not gonna lie, our offensive line is so good. I can count on one hand how many times we beat them clean, and Michael's probably beaten them clean twice. But our offensive line is really good, really good. But Michael is a great player. He's worked hard to come back. Y'all know he had the injury and stuff like that. He's worked hard to come back. He's back to where he needs to be, and he's going to carry the load that he has to carry this season.
We just talked to Amir Mims. Just what's it like going up against him in practice every day?
It's the best tackle in the country. That's all. That explains everything you know. That's the best tackle in the country. You don't see people beat him clean at all. His length, his strength, everything that he has. I mean, he has all the intangibles to be a Hall of Fame offensive lineman. I mean, he's a guy. Because I line up against him in 4-eye every day. I mean, when he touches you, you feel it. Honestly.
You mentioned Naz's TikToks. Obviously, you've got a good bit of personality too. What's every day like in the defensive line room, and how fun is it to be around this group?
Every day in the D-line room is, this is a microphone. Oh, snap. But it's fun being in the D-line room. You know, we got all those different characters and stuff like that. It's just, you be chilling 1 second, now I'll say something funny, the whole room will start laughing. Coach Scott's a pretty laid back, chill coach. You know, we listen to music, break down film, and we get to work. It's every day in the D-line room is different, honestly. No, none of the same days.
Warren, what have you been able to see from Carson, obviously being named QB1 recently, but what have you been able to see from him through the spring, through the fall, even through just your time at Georgia?
I'm gonna go back further than that because I seen the shift in Carson after the first national championship. We were y'all don't know, but me and him were roommates when we first early enrolled. And Carson always talked about playing and bringing a national championship back here. But after that first national championship that we won, he looked at me. We were out. He looked at me. He said, "Warren, I want my own." I was like, "What you mean?" He was like, "I want my own national championship." And after that, Carson's the first quarterback in, last quarterback out, and it's been like that since his sophomore year. You'll see that he has a different car now, but he had a white Ford. You always see his white Ford up there first. And when I'm leaving, his white Ford's still there. They got a Line X tag on the back.
Time for 2 more questions.
It feels like you've got a couple of guys like Jonathan Jefferson and Christian Miller that are going into another year. I mean, having more time in this defense, what have you seen from them and their growth and how they've kind of, grown as players?
There's a lot of growth. Christian's the run disruptor, block stuffer, can strike the hell out of the block. Jonathan Jefferson brings juice in the pass rush, so I can't wait to see those guys get out on the field this year.
Back to back, can you just talk about how different it is, the fact that he stayed all 4 years and patient, this, that, the other, and how that's like, you just don't see that nowadays. All the quarterbacks in his class have transferred, this, that, the other. Can you just talk about that, please?
I mean, it just should show y'all what type of guy he is, a high character guy. You know, he has to stick through this process and stay here and wait for his spot to open up, and now it's his turn to take over. He's a high character guy, that's all I can say really. Just for doing that, because like you said, it's not a lot of people that do that. Most quarterbacks would have hit the portal on the left. Carson stuck it through, and he's seeing it through. Victory within the mile. That's what I was trying to find earlier, is victory within your mile. So no matter how long your mile takes, you got to find victory at some point, and this is Carson's time to find victory.
Thank you, Warren.
Thanks, Warren.
Appreciate y'all.